Hi, how are you? Okay, so today we're going to continue our sugar skulls. So where we left off last time was working on the crown, and I actually did a little bit more to that. I also made sure to add like a butterfly on the side so I could fill that up. And the way I decided to go, because I did not want to take away from the crown, is that I decided that what I would do is that I would focus on the background, creating sort of some contrast. So I decided to do two mini sugar skulls because I think that it will kind of complement itself, the big sugar skull, if that is. And then it would also be able to just make sure that it just creates some sort of unity. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. So what I did is, we already know how to draw sugar skulls, so they're much smaller. I'm trying really hard to make them the same size. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so these sugar skulls that are on the corner, we wanna make sure that they have personality. Now, technically speaking, they don't have to be exactly like the other ones, but it is kind of cool to create something that kind of works. So again, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. What I decided to do too is that I kind of want this to be dark, just so that it could create contrast here. I'm gonna go ahead and do some flowers on the top of my sugar skull. I'm not sure if you could see that, but let me just get a marker just to make sure. So if you notice, I'm making the flower that is kind of inside the head of the sugar skull. So it looks sort of like a 3, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other one. Again, I don't have to make these exactly the same, but I kind of want to. And that's just for that part. Maybe I'll go a different route as I continue. So it then looks like a flower is coming out of the head of my sugar skull. And I want this to be sort of red. So I'm gonna make these little lines over here. And then I want the inside to be orange. I have some of that going on here that is kind of like orangey hot pink. So again, it kind of creates some kind of connection with the other. So I'm gonna color in those flowers orange for both of them. And again, my flowers are kind of reminiscent, not fully actually, but unless I add more flowers in the background of Frida Kahlo. So what I'm going to do too is I'm definitely gonna pay homage to Frida Kahlo, who I love a lot. And I'm just gonna go do some fuzzy eyebrows over here. That's what I'm gonna do because I want to definitely have some of that connection with Frida Kahlo, who looks really cool. So I'm gonna just go ahead, and she has a unibrow. So I'm gonna do a little bit of hair on the side, some eyebrows over there, right? Creating her famous Frida Kahlo eyebrows. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other one. She has like a little bit of some hair. Well, actually more than a little bit of hair on the side, on the middle, and right there. Okay, so that will already have some of the Frida Kahlo. I need a third flower because she has, if we look at Frida Kahlo, she has like 3 flowers. So because I did the unibrow, I'm gonna go ahead and draw some smaller flowers over here. And I'm just gonna go a slightly different route from the other ones, which is, I think, more Frida Kahlo-ish. It's sort of like, there you go. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing over here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that over here. Now I need to think of how would I like to do her eyes. So that could be a little tricky. I think what I wanna do is I wanna do some stars inside her eyes, which is easy. Not that I think she's a necessary this kind of star girl, but I think just to do something that will go with both. Now, I really like the idea of, I might actually change that, by the way. I really like the idea of having some kind of like vines. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some vines that are coming over here. And that kind of goes with the vines that are here. So I'm making a little bit of vines over here on the sides. which I think look quite pretty. And we'll connect the flower. Right? I'm gonna paint her nose green inside for both. Ooh. Right? So right now we have kind of a resemblance thing going on. I think what's really missing is her hair. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just go over here inside and make some hair. Because for me, that's like, I'm used to her hair. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that over here. And start it off over here. So now I have hair. So now to me, it kind of looks a bit more like Frida Kahlo. One of the things that I love about Frida is that she has these beautiful jumbo jewelry. So I'm gonna go and do some kind of big rustic pearls in the bottom for like her neck area. Okay, and let me just go take a look at that. I think it looks kind of okay. I'm not extremely happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and do some more flowers coming out from this side. And I kind of wanna go this way. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do some flowers over here, do another flower here. It just seems like she needs to be filled up a lot more. Do it over here. So she has like kind of like 3 different flowers. And I would have liked in a way if her face had been a bit fuller because I think her face, it's kind of strange seeing Frida Kahlo without her beautiful face and some skin on it. So I'm gonna color these red. So you kind of need to really start thinking what would be the best course of making a nice background that is supportive of what your primary sugar skull is. You want to make sure that it works. You want to make sure that it looks well. I think it would be really nice to have something to the effect of snakes, because I think snakes would look really nice, but then snakes could also look evil. I actually really love these flowers, but I think what I'm going to do over here is, let me just take a minute, because it's always good to take a minute and really think, is this something that I want to do? How far do I want to go? So far, this is what we have, which I actually think is very pretty. And we're looking and thinking, I think it needs green. I honestly think it needs green. So I think I'm going to do some green leaves on it, but I'm really concerned about what could be lying on the leaf. So I want to do a snake. So I think I will do a snake. Now, it doesn't have to be on both sides because it doesn't have to be symmetrical. It is entirely your choice whether you're going to make it symmetrical or not. I think I'm going to go the symmetrical route. But again, in terms of leaves, so I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do, go ahead over here, is that I'm going to do a snake, and I'm going to start with yellow. Oh, well, I want you to be able to see it. So I will start with orange, which we have a lot going on. So I'm going to, since this one is facing this way, I'm going to put my snake that's over here facing the opposite direction. I want to make sure I have the eyes, and I want to kind of capture that kind of wiggly feel of the snake. It might actually, see, look, it's actually going all the way down over there, which works. And with the other snake, I was very quick to just do pattern, but I think with this one, I want to see the scales. I want to see the scales, and then I can think about how exactly I want to color it later, but I want to see those scales. I personally think the scales of the snake are beautiful. It's sort of those, it's not like a scale, obviously, like what we see on fish, but it has sort of that kind of effect that when you look at it, it has a really cool texture. When I color it, I can go and color it with color pencil, and I can then maybe decide that I'm going to do a pattern, or maybe I will leave it like this. I'm not really sure, but I do want this snake to not be green. And the only reason is because I want to make sure that I can do some leaves. So now that I have that there, and I actually think I'm going to draw a butterfly on the opposite direction, because I think when I look at Frida Kahlo paintings, there are a lot of nature that's going on. So for this section right here, I hope you can see it, I'm going to go ahead and do some leaves. So I want to make sure that I'm not taking away from my beautiful snake. I will be coloring this later. I want to have leaves because I think it looks a little bit more like the jungle and kind of a sense of wildness. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue that. You can see that. I haven't finished with my snake, but I want to make sure that this side is fully with leaves. And I think that's pretty much it for today. Okay, so you can see that you're working it out and just creating a beautiful background that kind of gives support to the main sugar skull. And you don't have to always go the typical way with flowers or other things. You can step outside the box. Anyway, that's it for today. Have an awesome one. Bye.